Hi everyone, this is Shalli Kumar again from OSCE Nurse Training Cambridge. I'm an experienced OSCE Nurse trainer for the NMC OSCE exam in UK and also the lead trainer for OSCE Nurse Training Cambridge. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if you like my videos, please press the like button now and subscribe to my channel. And thanks for sending all those comments in. They do really help to so I just have a better idea what other videos you would like to see. So based on that, I have made today's video because you've been asking me lots of questions about as required, which is your PRN medication part of your drug chart. So you've been asking me loads and loads of questions about the as required medication. So I'm going to cover that, all your questions, and give you answers and tips how to manage that part of the drug chart. What's correct, what isn't correct. So we're going to look at that. I'm going to answer all your questions. Hopefully, if you were thinking about a question about the as required drug medication in your drug chart, so this is the video to watch that will be answered for you. So that's what we're going to look at today. Again, if you would like to have a little bit more information about our training, we provide both online OSCE training and for both pediatric and adult, online and also face-to-face, okay? Or you can combine the two if you wish to do so, because that sometimes works better for some of the nurses. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility, so you can do that as well. So just give us, say, you can email us on the email address which is oscenustraining@outlook.com. Okay, so let's talk about today's video. So today's video is all about the as required medication, like I said on your drug chart. So I'm gonna go through the 5 main questions you've been asking me and answer those, okay, and give you the correct information how to address these issues in your exam. So as you know, implementation is 15 minutes, and when you go through the drug chart, you will see that page 7 of the drug chart is your as required medication. So what are you supposed to do with it? Because of course they are not due at your time. So they are not your due antimicrobials, or they are not prescribed in regular section. So they're as required. So the name tells you you only give it if it's required. But can you skip past it? No. So we're coming to the first question. So let's look at the first question you've been asking me. Do I need to read this page of the drug chart? Answer to that is definitely yes. Okay, that is part of the prescription for your patient. That completes the patient prescription. You cannot skip this page. If you skip this page because you think, well, it's only as required, it's not due at my time, I don't need to do anything about it, you will fail the exam. Okay, so you cannot skip this. This is part of patient drug history. Is part of medication for patient, and if your patient needs it, it should be given. So definitely you cannot skip the section. So you do definitely need to read the section. Okay, so that is the as required section is normally the page 7 on your drug chart. Okay, so you definitely will not skip this. Number 2, do I need to give it to my patient? Yes, there is a reason. Yes, maybe. Okay, so the answer is not definite yes, answer is not definite no, because it's as required. The correct answer is ask your patient, think about it first. What medication it is, could your patient possibly need it? Ask the patient if they would like to. Normally, as required medications are like analgesia or antiemetics and things like that, or maybe lactulose for constipation, things like that. So they're normally prescribed as required. There may be a regular medication for analgesia as well, a regular paracetamol, and then patient may be prescribed ibuprofen or codeine phosphate as required. So should you give it if you're already giving paracetamol? Yes, of course. It depends on patient pain scale. Okay, so if your patient is in moderate pain, not just a mild pain, but if they're in moderate pain, yes, you can give paracetamol from regular and then ibuprofen or codeine phosphate from the as required section. Or if your patient is having constipation, they will prescribe for lactulose. You need to ask the patient if they need it, and same for antiemetics. If your patient is feeling sick, they might need an antiemetic. So this section is not there is a purpose to this section, okay? It's part of the patient prescription, and if they need it, they should be having that drug. So yeah, the answer is yes, you may need to give this medication. So that's your answer. Number 3, is it valid prescription even though duration and end date is not given? Okay, lots and lots of you been sending me comments on this. So yes, so if we look at this prescription here, the date is today, the dose is 30 milligram, and the drug is codeine phosphate, and then you can see the frequency is 8 hourly, and and you can see the drug is route is PO, duration is not given, start date is today, end date is not given, and then is prescribed per signature, and the bleep number is there. Okay, and the prescriber's name is there as well in print name. Okay, so I'm right, and the bleep number is there, and the signature is there. So is a valid prescription? Yes, it's a valid prescription. Now you may ask, well, how can it be valid because the duration and finish date is not given? It is valid because it's only as required drug. There is not a particular duration on it for how long patient will need it. Okay, so that's why the duration section is not filled. End date, there is no end date to it again because it's as required drug. You may never give it. There may never be an end date on it. Okay, so those in that information is not relevant to as required medication. That's why it's not given. So yes, it's still a valid prescription even though the duration and end date is not given because it's as required medication. So that's the one thing to keep in mind. So you don't confuse and think, oh well, it's not a valid prescription, I can't give it anyway. No, it is a valid prescription if it's prescribed that way. If duration and end date is missing, it's still a valid prescription because it's as required drug on your drug chart. So that answers that one. Okay, so moving on to the next one, the fourth question. Do I need to code it if not given? Right, so no, you don't need to code the as required medication. So omission codes, and you only need to code the drugs which are due at your time. So that is probably antimicrobials and the regular drugs where they could be due at your time, but you cannot give it because they're not clinically safe to give. Then you add a omission code for omission, but you do not need to add omission code to a as required drug because as required is not due at your time. It's only given if it is as required. Okay, if your patient requires it. So yeah, so there, if your patient doesn't require and you are not going to give that drug, you do not need to put omission code. So that hopefully answers that question for you. So yeah, if you're going to give it, then yes, we need to sign to say that we have given that drug. But if you are not giving that drug, you do not need to put omission code because it was not actually due at your time. It was only just in case if your patient required it. So that's that one. Number 5 now. How do I document for required as required drug if I give it? So how do you document in this section? So say you given this drug which is codeine phosphate to your patient. So how do you record it now? Okay, so imagine your patient was in lot of pain, there was a paracetamol in the regular section, or for whatever reason patient needs more medication for analgesia, and then you decided to give codeine as well because it's okay to give alongside paracetamol. I'm just giving you an example. Okay, this doesn't belong to a real person, it's just for a teaching purpose, but I'm just giving you a example why you end up giving why you give a drug on from as required. It could be analgesia, you're topping it up with the regular one, or it could be antiemetic or something like that. So how do we sign for the given drug? If we are not giving a, we don't need to do pen to paper to this section of the drug chart. If we are giving a yes, then we do need to add the time. Now what time? Because the time slots are not given. So what would you add in the time box? What you will add in the time box is the time of your drug round, so which is given on the front of your drug sheet, isn't it? Your March chart, the front thing, if you look at it, I just put a little screenshot on the screen, you can see the due time for your drug round. They have asked you to at 10 o'clock. So obviously you're giving it at 10. So you go in the time box and you put 10. 10 o'clock, because you need to add your time slot because it's not obviously already given. So we will just put 10 o'clock there, and then under today we will, it says on the top, add signature, so we will add signature under today. So that's how you would document for the as required medication. Lots of people sign in under today, but they don't add the time slot, which would be a fail, because it needs to be clear what time you gave that drug, because the drug slots, the time slots are not given, so you add your time slot. So that's how you actually do the documentation for it. So I hope this makes a lot of sense for you, and hopefully you will not be now confused with this section of the drug chart when you go into exam. Do practice different drug charts, but yes, keep in mind it's really important part of the drug chart for your patient. So please do not skip it and do not make the mistakes I have shown you now. Okay, hopefully answers all your questions you've been sending me. So thank you for watching, and if you would like to visit us on our website, it's oscenustraining.com. Email us on oscenustraining@outlook.com. We get lots and lots of lovely feedback from our previous nurses who have taken our training. So go and watch our Google reviews before you decide to choose a training provider. And I will soon be back with another video for you. So bye for now.